welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another plant video. I am going to be repotting some plants. So I am going to be repotting my varicosum, a crimson queen, and my Loooool, and I'm going to start off with my caudetta. I am basically going to be repotting this and talking about some embarrassing stories. It is literally, I want to say like 10, it's literally 11 p.m. right now, and I was laying in bed with my cringy, embarrassing stories replaying in my brain, you know, as one does, and I decided that it would be like a pretty funny video. I think I've gotten to the point where the stories aren't so much embarrassing anymore as they are just kind of like funny. It gets a chuckle out of me, I guess. And I thought that they'd be funny to share with you guys. I know that there are a lot of plant people that are also healthcare people, and I love it. I am going to be repotting in some pots that I got from Amazon. I will be linking them down below if you would like one as well. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to say. Let's go ahead and get into the embarrassing stories. So the first story is the blood pressure story. It is my first labor and delivery clinical with a postpartum patient. It was not, I don't think, as bad as I felt like it was in the moment. I definitely think that the stories that I talk about later on in the video are a little bit funnier than this one, but I wanted to share this one because I seriously remember turning red as a tomato. If you didn't know, postpartum is basically a patient that has just given birth, hence the postpartum. This patient was, like I said, the first postpartum patient that I had ever had, and she had just had a baby, right? You know, she was acting the way that somebody who just had a baby would act, okay? This wasn't actually her first baby, but you know, when you pop something out, I'm pretty sure everybody is in the same mood, like not a good one. I walked into the patient's room and I very clearly remember the nurse being like, "Take her vitals." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But this woman was literally like in the middle of changing her child, and I just like I knew, like in my brain I was aware that it was not a good idea. Like I knew that it wasn't a good idea to do her blood pressure, but my little nurse brain was like, I guess I have to do it now. But I did second guess it. I did second guess it, and I grabbed the vital signs machine and I like asked her if it was okay to do her vital signs, and she said yeah, and like stuck out her arm, and I was like, okay, I guess she's fine with it, so I'm gonna put the blood pressure cuff on. So I did, and I put the blood pressure cuff on, and like as soon as this blood pressure cuff started inflating, this woman got so aggravated, like so aggravated. She like ripped off her blood pressure cuff and basically threw it at me. Like she did, like she threw it like in my direction, and I was just like stunned, and it was like such an awkward moment. I don't think that it was necessarily like an embarrassing thing. If anything, it just kind of made me feel icky, but like the moment afterwards was very awkward. Like her husband was very like, his face was very like, oh, you like made her angry. And the nurse was like, oh, you like shouldn't have done that. And I just remember feeling so dumb in the moment because I was like, I knew, like I was aware that that was not a wise thing to do. So yeah, I don't know, I did it anyway. So I mean, I'll live. It's just that every time that I relive that story in my brain, it hurts a little, you know? And I thought it was funny. The second story my mom like seriously laughed at, so I'm hoping that you guys think it's just as entertaining. This was my first actual pediatric clinic. You know, you can tell that the first time that I do things, it's not my best work. But it was my first pediatric clinical, and I did have a young boy as my patient. And this young boy, he actually needed to get a biopsy. So I went with him to get a biopsy because he was very nervous. He was really sweet first patient, like a super sweet first patient. And it was honestly not that bad of a day. I was going down to the procedure with him. He needed to get this procedure done. I stood in the room and there was a doctor, obviously, that did the procedure. And he was a very, like, he looked sort of important. He looked like an important doctor, okay? Not just like any old doctor. He looked like, you know, a top dog. And he told me that he was impressed by me because there was a lot of blood during this procedure. Like, I'm talking lots of blood. And the nurse that I was with had actually like brought up the fact that the day before a student had actually fainted after seeing this procedure, and that student was a med student, and I am clearly a nursing student. And all was good. The procedure was over. Everything was great. Everybody left. The patient was rolled out of the room. I wasn't allowed to go with the patient because I needed to go back and help my nurse with the rest of her patients. So I walked out, but like, I didn't know how to get back upstairs. Like, it was my first day in the hospital. I was walking out in the same direction as the doctor. We made like awkward small talk, and then he was like, "So where are you going?" And I said, "To the elevators." I'm pretty sure that he was asking what floor I was going to. I'm sure that he knew that I was going to the elevators. And he showed me directions to where the staff elevators were and where the other elevators were. And I was like, oh, I know the other elevators like better, and I'm technically not staff, so I just prefer going to the other elevators. Typical thought process. And so I get into the elevator and he heads the same way. So we're in the same elevator now. And he hits the 10th floor. And I knew in my head that I was on the 10th floor. Like, I knew that my patient was on the 10th floor. I knew that. So we went to the same floor. I got off and he started walking, and again, we were walking in like an awkward, you know, like we're walking next to each other. And then I start to realize that like I don't recognize anything on the floor. And I was like, well, that's weird. Like, I don't recognize anything. Maybe my patient was like on a special area of the floor. Can you see where this is going? And so I was like, oh, I guess like this isn't the floor that I was on. And I like turned around and got back into the elevator. And I went to the 9th floor because that's what I remembered getting dropped off at. So I went to the 9th floor, I got let in, did a whole like maze of this hospital, walked around, got into the staff elevators, and then went up to the 10th floor. And I finally figured out my way back to this patient's room. Guess who was there? Because obviously the doctor who just did the procedure on the patient that I had was gonna go to the patient that I had's room. Like, it was obvious. Like, he had like a whole group of med students like around him, and it was like he had been talking for like at least 10 minutes, you know? So it took me like a good 20 minutes to find the room again. And it was just, I don't know why it's so like funny and embarrassing to me. Like, I do not understand why I did that. Like, obviously, I don't know why I just didn't keep walking, or why he didn't just tell me, like, oh, I'm going to your patient's room. Like, I don't know, would have saved me some embarrassment, man. But yeah, that is the procedure story. I mean, to this day, I still like cringe at myself just because like he was impressed with me. Like, he said that I was like a good student because I had watched the procedure and that like I asked good questions, la-di-da. And it was nice. He saw me in a good light, and then he saw me get lost for 20 minutes in the hospital, and he didn't bother to warn me at all. But yeah, that's that story. The next story is honestly like, it's really not that embarrassing. It's just kind of funny. I had a clinical in the AOD sort of OR and PACU area of a hospital. So we were basically admitting patients that were getting surgeries, and these patients would come in for like small procedures, like day procedures that they could like go in, they could get their surgery and then leave. Well, we had this one patient who he was in a like mobilized wheelchair, like I don't even know what those are called. Like it's just like a scooter. The nurse and I actually like moved him on a Hoyer lift, and he ended up getting into the bed, but obviously we have to store this wheelchair, right? We have to store this wheelchair. It's not like we could just like leave it in the room like we have other patients. So the nurse and I basically maneuver this electric wheelchair back into like the storage area where the extra beds and stuff are. And when we do that, we realize that it's kind of difficult to control, okay? It's kind of difficult to control. We like moved one way and it like swerved, and we did that, we put it away, it was fine. Everything was good. He went, he had his surgery, voila, he came out a new man, and he needed his wheelchair back, right? We assessed him, did all the nursey stuff, and it was time to get him his wheelchair back, right? And the nurse was like, hey, you like can go get his wheelchair, right? And I said yes. I did not know how to use this man's wheelchair, my friends. I did not know. And I somehow, some weird, because I'm me and I'm clumsy and I can't manage to do things correctly, I went and I tried to get the wheelchair out, and I pinned my hand. I pinned my hand against the wall. It hurt. It hurt so bad, and I really tried to play it off. Like, I promise you, I really tried to play it off. Like, I really did. But my arm, like my wrist, the entire like area was red, and my body didn't enjoy it, and it like got this like weird reaction where I got like bumps like all over my wrist, and I basically had to call my professor and tell her that I had like injured myself. And the text literally said, hi, Dr. Nelson, I might have accidentally possibly hurt myself with the wheelchair. And she came in and she was like, what did you do? So, I don't know. That one was honestly kind of just funny. The nurses didn't make me feel embarrassed in any way. It was just the fact that like, what a silly thing for me to do. I hurt myself with a wheelchair. I hurt myself with an electric wheelchair. Like, how does one do that? But yeah, that happened. And actually on that same unit, this was one of the things that honestly like still is kind of cringy to me to this day. Whenever I think about it, I cringe. It honestly wasn't that long ago. It was like probably 4 weeks ago, like last month. I was on that unit, and prior to being on that unit, I was on a different unit where they actually were doing the surgeries. And I saw or met a CRNA there. I saw and met a CRNA there. I felt like I got along with the staff pretty well. Like, they were nice, they were really cool. And I don't know, I thought the CRNA was cool. We like made a joke. It was like a fun time. And then the next week I had been in this other unit, and when he came in, he said hi, like in such a like, hey, and I said hi, and I got so excited because I thought that this man had recognized me from the week before. And I was wrong. He said hi to someone behind me. He said hi to someone behind me. And I honestly think that is the most embarrassing thing that has happened. I really do. I really do think that's the most embarrassing thing that has happened. And I know, again, it sounds so silly. Like, I mean, that's not so bad. You said hi. It happens all the time, right? But you don't understand my, like, enthusiasm with my hello. It was like, hi! Like, I was so excited that this man possibly could have recognized me just because, like, he's a CRNA. CRNAs are cool. Like, I don't know. We made jokes with each other. Like, he was nice. I felt so embarrassed because it was very obvious that he was not talking to me, because afterwards it got so incredibly awkward. There was no speaking of it afterwards from me and my nurse, because my nurse witnessed it, and it was awkward. It was really awkward. I did not like that. And that's still to this day. And like the other ones I could laugh about. The other ones I don't think are that bad. But that one for some reason really like hits in the wrong place, you know? I honestly, like, I know that I have other embarrassing stories to talk about. Like, I know that I do. I know that I do. I know that for a fact I have other embarrassing stories, but for some reason they are not, like, registering in my brain right now. So I think that's actually gonna be it for today's video. If you guys want more embarrassing stories videos or more repot with me's, or if you have any embarrassing stories that you want to tell me that are funny, that have to do with like patients, or even just like a regular embarrassing story, go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear them so that I do not feel like a fool. I hope you guys liked the video. I really liked making it. I like talking, and I don't know, it was entertaining, it was fun, and yeah, if you did, go ahead and hit the like button down below, and if you like me or you like plant videos, go ahead and subscribe if you want to. But that's gonna be it for today's video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye!